Hey, I'm Zoe. I'm an abstract artist and a writer. This is only my second animatic. First one rolls as a pseudo credit. I painted everything because my PC is falling apart and I technically can't even go online with it. Being forced to make everything taught me a lot though. Not every asset is amazing, but no, I'm gonna get better from here on out. If you like it, let me know. Also, before I forget, I do D&D. I have a campaign looking for players. Info at the end of the video. Listen, I'm going to tell you a story. A story involving a chemical and how it changed me. I won't go into its name or the dosage, but know this. It cured my depression, and I don't say that lightly. It gave me a flagellant's whip, the sting, the self-striking absolution of reality. It has given me the motivation I lifelongly lacked. But I don't recommend, condone, or accept trying to fix one's problems with drug abuse. I didn't go in trying to fix this. Don't roll your eyes. I've seen people broken by their poor choices. I've seen minds shattered irrevocably, and I've seen bodies left with permanent damage. That this worked is akin to removing cancer from the brain with a bullet. Seriously, don't hurt yourself. So the journey that begins our story took place on Halloween. A not too close acquaintance had procured some tabs. Maybe it was straight lysergic, or maybe it was one of those designer ones. Well, long story short, 4 down and absolutely nothing happened to me. I got nada while Dingus and Dorcas were out of their minds. We concluded I might be that one in a million that's like immune to it. I spent 6 hours unlocking Pichu, then went home disappointed. It was just a few weeks ago that they told me they got something different, something that they were sure would work. Its name, a smattering of letters and numbers, a combination code for those in the know of Hamilton. Bottoms up at this point, I figured. I was 33 and I was always curious. It started to kick in at about 5 minutes. A highly uncomfortable disorientation clouded my every sense. I had to remind myself more than once that I wasn't poisoned. I registered only a chattering jaw, a building nausea, and an impossible to make out world. Then, 15 minutes in this hell, I emerged on the other side to this like prismatic dream world. These spheres of metallic primary colors, they spiraled in these fractal patterns like at a low opacity behind my vision, but became hyper-realistic when my eyes were closed. And how I felt? The feeling was like being at a concert, the hype, the energy, that deafened echo in your own voice once you're outside. It came with all of that. When I thought, well, about anything, the clarity of mind, the acuity of memory, along with my already animated thoughts, they seemingly combined themselves as a lucid dream I could slip in and out of at will. So, like, for hours, I used my mind as a playground, and when I couldn't get somewhere or think of something, I'd imagine a wall smashing, or tearing a hole in the fourth dimension, or jumping a ramp as an anthropomorphic ball. Then my monkey brain decided to think about my lifelong dogged depression, and this is where my life completely changed. I saw my depression embodied as a spiraling, abandoned mind, and although I was high up, I could see so much of the twisted scaffolding, the broken bridges, and the fallen planks. And oddly enough, they all had this like symbolic feeling tied to them. It was as if its existence was a readable blurb that kickstarted some kind of flashback. The moments I fell or dug my way out, the bridges I built to get over it, formed from hard-earned wisdom, each plank, or even lack therefor, a captivating movie. I didn't reminisce on the good or rest on my laurels. I didn't have time to. From my location, I was halfway up, but the abyss below pulled my attention. At first, slightly, then I freefall tumbled into that pit. What I saw, what I encountered, I label it the void of endless slumber. It's the end of all mankind. From cavemen of over 100,000 years ago, kings, leaders, madmen, paupers, murderers, and tyrants all alike, piled up infinitely, or so it appeared. And each bone, just like the minds, held an entire picture show of their life. Their loves, their dreams, despairs, and fears, all played before me on each and every single bone. Perhaps these were my ancestors, but how would I even know? It's embarrassing to say, but it dawned on me harder than any truth. I will join them, regardless of choice. I will cease to be. I will forever slumber at some point, an everlasting off, to never be graced with the spark of life again. I will be gone. Then, at some point, the earth will become uninhabitable. Then, at some point, the sun dies. Maybe mankind goes extinct first. Then the universe will end. Emptiness has existed longer than time has. This friggin' broke me. I, of course, knew these things, but to encounter it, to have it impossible to look away, impossible to run my thoughts elsewhere, impossible to avoid in any way. Well, it stripped away a part of me, and for that, I'm grateful. It felt like, for once, reality was comforting. It was now, and now was so limited. Reality felt deity-esque and slightly softer as I broke apart to cushion and console my void-ripped mind. Carl Sagan came to mind that you know which one I mean. Put up the right one. Carl Sagan came to mind that I was just a collection of star matter, that I was combined millions of times before I became me as I am now, and some crazy impossibility of a massive blast to have wished for sentience and sapience. I thought about humanity. I mean, after the bone pit, it was hard not to. I thought about how lucky I am and how I am easily on the 1% of best lives ever lived on this planet. I mean, I have lived and I do live kind of like a spoiled prince. Entertainment and boundless knowledge on my every whim. I only eat what I like and not what I have to or have any of it rationed. And though at times I've been homeless, I've only slept outside or in a car while camping. My water is clean and ever flowing. My health is amazing compared to just a few decades back, and technically I'm disabled. My mind is sharp, not burned out, not damaged. Oh, and kind of a joke, but I'm bone light. And I've kept away from people mostly because of unpredictability or how they terrify me based on prior experiences and what ifs. Well, now that I saw the void and I have a real thing to fear, I'm not afraid of people anymore. I'm afraid of a life unlived. How I once romanced death poetic, now I mourn my mortality. And it left me disturbed for quite a few days. Smoking was so easy to quit after this, though. And reality has a way of grounding even my mind. And this little girl, she helped me a lot. She continues to remind me of temperance, and she is way too sweet for her own good. I want to experience certain things before that void claims me. I want to share my spark of insanity that leads to my creativity in the same way the world has done for me. I always felt this moment was to come, to participate. Whether you want it or not, I'll be spilling my guts out, my magnum opus. I have projects and stories, games, plays, businesses, and so much more in the pipeline. I won't be around forever, so I want to be part of what I always loved. I mean, it's time to take a chance. I have to. I know someone needs to see this just as I need someone to see it as well. If you're interested in helping, have a paying job, or at least have like a video idea, like say something, sound off. Hey, so I'm poor and this is begging. Actually, that's not as hard as I thought it'd be. I would love to keep the Clip Studio paint. I only have like 3 days left on my free trial. And I did this all on a 13-year-old Wacom tablet, and I'd love to have something a little nicer. I started on February 2nd, but I dawdled for 3 days. My PC has slowly been dying, so I need to disassemble it and figure out what the hell's going on. Yeah, this is a clip reel to show my other less storytelling animations. More videos will include stuff like my favorite and least favorite Final Fantasies, Tactics and 11. Then maybe my favorite grimoires, and I need to finalize the mechanics of my game. It's so simple, I can do it on cut up paper, so I imagine I can program it. You stuck around to the very end. Bravo. So I am looking for players for a very involved D&D campaign with all custom art and stuff like that. The game's free because, I've never had money, and that doesn't make me any less of a person. So the donations are heavily encouraged too, because I'd love some money. Maybe some voice actors. Gilbert Gottfried can say anything for some money. Discord link for preliminaries at the bottom. Follow the rules. Show up. Pay attention. That's all I ask.